my name is Gudrun from GE Designs. Welcome to our live show, Tipsy Tuesday. Hi everyone and welcome to our show, and thank you all for being here. Of course, if you're new around here, make sure you subscribe to our channel. We are live multiple times a week, so you don't want to miss a show. Every Tuesday and Friday, me and Mr. HP are here. Say hi to Mr. HP. Hello. We are back to our Studio B.
Hi, everybody. Hi,
so
everybody.
for a while, right?
Yep, we're here.
And celebrating today, look what I have behind me, the London Calling Quilt. Yes, some of you may be seeing it for the first time. But make sure you subscribe. If you're on YouTube or Facebook, also stick around till the end of the show. We have a giveaway. All you got to do is answer the giveaway question. You're automatically entered into our giveaway. Of course, we love interacting with you throughout the show, so thumbs up and hearts are always appreciated. And ask us questions. Of course, ask us questions.
Lots of questions.
We're going to ease your anxiety. If you live in America, might be some anxiety happening today, but we're going to have some quilting fun for sure. So we just got back from Houston, had a great time at both Houston Quilt Market and Houston International Quilt Festival, the 50th anniversary of that show. And saw lots of old friends and met a lot of new friends, some new stripologists. So hopefully some of you are watching us tonight, and let's enjoy a fun hour of quilting or so.
Agreed.
In Houston, we of course premiered this quilt for the first time. We've been working on it for 14 months, and it was a mystery, of course, taking us through the iconic places in London, sewing our way through it, reading the stories behind the places, and here we are. I know you can only see a portion of it, but we're going to play you a video that kind of takes you alongside us through the city of London as we took the quilt on its journey once it was all finished. Now, the greatest part about the London Calling is that I'm already seeing you guys finishing your quilts. We literally just showed this on Friday, and everybody got their instructions later that evening, and so it's amazing that you already got it all done and together. So that's really cool. But let's start. Let's start by telling everybody who was our winner last week. Kara was amazing enough to step in straight off the plane to host Tipsy Tuesday last week for us. We were, of course, at the show and busy. I was actually teaching a class. So, but the question, the giveaway question was, what quilting project are you currently working on? And the winner is,
Drum
sir.
roll, please.
Pam Mulemans. Congratulations, Pam. You have won a $25 gift card. The project she's working on, she's making an Escher-like table runner. So that's fun. It was really fun to see all your projects that you were working on, lots of different things. So congrats. All you got to do, Pam, is email us to help@gequiltdesigns.com to claim your gift card. And we will get that right to you so you can go shopping. So one of our big things this week, we're kicking off our homecoming quilt-along. Now what is that? We just talked about it about 3 weeks ago. This is in an effort to support hurricane relief efforts in North Carolina. We are supporting our friends from Lo and Behold Stitchery, which were severely affected by the storm and the damage following that. And so we picked one of their wonderful patterns called Homecoming, and we're going to be sewing this together in the next, so today and the next 2 Tipsy Tuesdays. So 3 parts. It's a simple pattern. I got some great tips for you. Very easy to source fabrics because you need, I think, 2.5 yards of background. This is for the lap size or the throw size that I'm making. There's 3 sizes. So all we ask is go ahead and purchase the pattern from Lo and Behold. They were previously donating portions of the money, portions of the profits to go to their local relief efforts right on the ground there. But they were also, both their store and their home were damaged. So Any support is great. So we're gonna do this together. There's two ways. Let me show, did you show them the quilt yet? This is the quilt, this is the pattern called Homecoming. So this version is done with a background fabric and then 4 different colors. So you only need a ½ yard of the 4 different colors plus 2½ yards of the background to make this version. There's also ways to do this with just 2 fabrics, so easy to adjust to that way. And here's some other inspiration. We shared this a while back. We have a blog post on our website going on. So if you find our blog, find the Homecoming blog post to find all the information with links, where to go to find the pattern and everything. And we'll put the links to this video right after. So as a part of my tip of the day for today and the next 2 Tuesdays, we're going to be sewing this Homecoming quilt together. So let's start with our part 1 of the Homecoming quilt along. Let's get started on our Homecoming quilt along. First off, if you want to participate, make sure you have your pattern. You can purchase that at Lo and Behold Stitchery.com. This is, of course, a pattern by Lo and Behold Stitchery, and we are doing this to fundraise for hurricane relief as they were directly impacted themselves. So what we want to do, I'm going to be working on the lap size, or the throw size. So there are 3 sizes in the pattern. There's baby, throw, and bed size. The design is going to be the same. The difference is the width of the strips for all the pieces. So make sure you have a good understanding of which size you're going to be doing so you know which size strips to cut. So for the throw size, you need a background fabric and either 1 other fabric if you want to just make a 2-color version. If you want to make a 5-color version, you need 4 other fabrics. So I have my background as being this beautiful blue. I am going to be using my clips and marking them B for all of my background pieces. And then you have 4 different fabrics that should be numbered from 1 through 4. Make sure you stay organized because, you know, depending on what order of fabrics you're going to have, you want to make sure that you stick to those throughout. So make sure you mark your fabrics. This is going to be my order. So another good tip I want to point out is I did treat my fabrics with a little bit of best press. You can use sizing or starch. It is going to be very helpful. Some of these cuts are going to be on the diagonal, so we're going to have a couple of bias edges. I'm going to give you some tips along the way. So we're going to be doing this in 3 sections. So today on our show, and then a week from now, and then 2 weeks, so 3 consecutive weeks. I'm going to break it up into sections, that is blocks in each of the sections. So if you want to work faster, you can always work ahead. That's fine. But if you want to do it with me, make sure you have something to do in between because the steps are not going to take very long once we get there. So let's start with the cutting. I am not going to give you exactly the cuts that we need, but I'm going to give you some tips on the cutting. In particular, when we're cutting full width fabric. So our background, of course, we needed almost 2½ yards or 3 yards, depending if you want to use it for your binding as well. For the other fabrics, we need 4 different ½ yards. So I just wanted to give you a little tip on folding your fabric because it's one of those things that I always get asked about, because what we want is take that bolt fold it over the selvages, making sure those 2 folds are parallel in order for our strips to be straight. For this particular pattern, we want our strips to not have any elbows because we're using a lot of them for full width strip sets. Now, some strips that you're going to be subcutting, it's okay if one of your folds is a little off because we're going to be subcutting, leaving that actual fold out. But here's a little tip to get those folds to be parallel. What I do, I take my bolt fold, I find a horizontal line on my cutting mat to line up this fold with. Then I bring my selvages over and I fold them not all the way, but I fold them down until I can find a line up here on my cutting mat that I can make the second fold land on. So I'm just carefully folding this. So now I have this fold, new fold on a line here, and my other fold is on a line here. I can flip this over. Reason being, I just want to be really clear to see these two folds. And now I check myself by laying my XL ruler on top, lining up a horizontal line here on the bottom, and then making sure that the top line is, the top fold is also lined up with a line, or at least parallel to a line. This is looking really good to me. So from here, I can cut my strips. For the throw size, we're going to be working with 3-inch strips, so I'm going to cut that. Now, the fabrics, the 1 through 5, or 1 through 4 fabrics, the numbered fabrics, you are going to be subcutting some of those strips, and some of them you're going to use straight for strip piecing. So make sure you look at that, and then only take the ones that you need and open them up and subcut. I wanted to give you a little tip on the background. There is, particularly for the throw size, it's going to be different for the other 2 sizes, but for the throw size, you cut a wide strip and cut 2 squares from it, and then it tells you to cut rectangles from the rest of it, but it's a different length rectangle. So what I recommend is cut that strip, I believe it was 9.5 inches, you cut your 2 squares from it, take the rest of your strip and press that fold, and then what you want to do is fold it back up, even though this is, just leave that unpressed, and then narrow your strip down first before you start subcutting the rectangles. So this is for specifically for the background for the throw size. So I'm going to bring this down to 8. And because that's going to be the length of my rectangles. And then from there, because I'm subcutting a odd number of rectangles, not even, I'm going to unfold this again, just so that we can utilize our fabric the best way. So now, since I just have a single fold, I can really align any line along the bottom of the rectangle. So from here, making sure I have a little trim here to the left of my 0. And then I can subcut my rectangles and easily have that odd number that I need. So here's 4. I believe I need 7. So, and my last cut, I can cut on the 21 on the edge of the ruler, and that'll give me my last piece. So we are going to have these rectangles from the background ready to go. Now I have the rest of my background fabric all cut up, so I have the pieces that I need that are subcut all set now with this one added. They're going to be in this pile. And then I have my full strips that are intended for strip piecing. So do the same with your 4 fabrics if you're using multiple colors, or if you're just using 2 fabrics, do the same with all the other colors. Get your strips and subcuts done. And now we're going to move on to the first steps of the piecing. In this first part of the quilt along, we're going to be working on blocks 1 and blocks 2. There are 2 different versions of block 1 and 3 of block 2. So starting with block 1, we're going to be making strip sets. So this is why it was important for you to make sure you know which fabrics are what if you're using the 4 different fabrics. So I have color 3 here on the bottom, and then color 2 here in the middle, 2 background strips in between. So what I suggest whenever I'm doing strip sets, I start by sewing just 2 strips together and the 2 strips together, and then I press those 2 before joining the pairs. So in this case, all the seams are pressed upwards, so away from that color 3 or fabric 3. So you make 1 strip set for the throw size. You can adjust if you're making others. So for this first step in block 1, you also make 1 full strip set that we're going to subcut but you also make another set that is, you use the rectangles that you already pre-cut or subcut so that we get 4 units of the same. But let me show you a little tip when I'm subcutting. So these are pretty wide subcuts. So in those cases, we are only going to get one. If we're using the Strabology XL ruler, we're only going to get 1 block from each cut. So I like to fold my strip set in half, making sure it's nice and aligned. Always too, when you are making strip sets, you can always test before you start sewing a lot of them. Test your seams, because you want this to measure exactly what it's supposed to be. So these are supposed to be 13, oh no, they're supposed to be 10.5 inches when sewn. So make sure you check that. And then we're gonna subcut these into rectangles. And I can get 2, now that I have 2 layered. When I'm ready to subcut, what I'm looking at, I want to make sure that my first cut through the 0 is going to clean off all my selvages. Obviously make sure that underneath I'm going to get that trim as well. And then I want to make sure that I have my horizontal lines on the ruler aligned with the seams. So you want to make sure that these are nice and straight before you make the cuts. So I'm going to cut the first 2 here, and then I'm going to take the center. So I have my 2 rectangles here. I'm going to open up the center, and with this one I subcut the same way. But sometimes when we have that center unit, we want to make sure that we're trimming evenly on both sides in case there is a misalignment. If you see that it's pretty straight and aligned already, I can go ahead and just trim through the 0 and then to the length that you need. So out of the strip set, you should get 3 rectangles, and then you piece the 4th one just like I showed you. Following that step, we're going to be sewing one of the squares to the top. This is color number 1, I believe. Yes, color number 1, the square. And we're going to be sewing 2 of the rectangles the same and the other 2 opposite, because we're making the 2 different blocks. This is block 1A and 1B. So what we're going to do is take those squares, small squares, and on 2 of the strip sets that you subcut, we're just going to take that square and sew it to the top, and we're going to press it away. So all of these seams are going to be going in the same direction. So you want to have 2 going this way, and then the other 2, we're going to sew this to the other end. So this is on the left side, this is on the right side, and so 2 of them go this way, and then 2 go this way. And you can see on this one, I already sewed it on, and just pressing it out like this, and then we have that set ready. We're going to do a little cutting on this, so I'm going to go ahead and sew these on, and then I'll take you through the next step of this block. Now I have both blocks sewn. So we have 2 and 2 like this. And now we're going to make a little cut. And what we want to do is make a diagonal cut going corner to corner this way. And so you can do these 2 ways. You can totally just put it on point, use a large ruler, place the ruler on the corner here on the top. Let me turn this so you can see this way. So align the ruler on the top corners like this, and then make your cut. So being that we are Strabology ruler users, it's always a little scary to cut on the edge of a ruler in case you want to accidentally go off. So I'm going to show you a little trick. If you wanted to be secure and cut through a slit, you can take this gold square, fold this in half so that the square is aligned with the 2 edges of the block. Obviously it's going to look a little weird here. Now you have a fold down here. So you can just take your ruler, align the first slit on the ruler with that tip here that you folded the square in half. And then we're gonna have a horizontal line aligned here with the fold. This way you can just safely put your rotary cutter in the 0 slit and cut this off. Now this in the pattern is a discard, but of course I love to utilize my discards for whatever. So I'm gonna set this aside and maybe I can play with those little leftovers and maybe use it for my back. So this is going to be your block. This is 1B. So because we have the square here on the left corner, so I'm going to take my clips. I'm going to start organizing these right away. So 1B, I need 2 of those. So I'm going to do both of those. And as you can see, once we cut this in half like this, we are going to have that bias edge on that block. And this is my discard. I'm going to put that aside. And so I'm going to give you a little tip. I'm going to cut my other 2. These are my B's. And then as you do the opposite, it folds the same way. You're just going to put the corners together like this. Otherwise, the process is the same. Align my slit up with a corner and then a horizontal line here on the bottom fold. And then I'm going to make my trim. And in this case, this side is my discard and this is my block 1A. You can see that they're opposites. So we have this one going this way and this one this way. So this is my B, and so I have my clip ready for my 1As. So you want to make sure you sort them, keep them marked. Another step that you can do if you are going to take some time between steps, and in this case we're going to be making this in a 3-week period, so I'm going to save my pieces between. I like to take a little stay stitch sometimes in these cases when we have those bias edges on a block, and totally optional. So here's my other one. And what that means is along this bias edge, this diagonal cut that we just made, I'm just going to stitch about 1/8 of an inch with a straight stitch all along the inside on my 4 blocks. And that will really keep this edge stable. So no matter how much I handle it, it's going to stay put. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll show you how that looks. So here I have my blocks. You can see I just stitched 1/8 of an inch from the edge. You can probably see it. I just used my regular piecing thread, gray thread. And so what this does, it just stabilizes that edge until it goes into my quilt. And actually these are going to be on the outside of the quilt, so you already have your stay stitch, your part of your victory lap already done. Make sure you label the blocks back up, and they are ready to be put away and waiting for the rest of the blocks to be done. So now we're going to move on to block number 2. Next step, we're going to move on to block number 2. There are 3 versions of this block. First one is block 2A, and that involves making strip sets with your color number 4 and then your background. So a large strip set in this case. So we have my background on each end and then the 2 strips in between. We'll be subcutting these, and based on your width of your strip, that's the width that you subcut. Now the XL ruler is going to be long enough for you to make those cuts. So again, we're going to be able to get making subcuts actually at 10.5 inches. So you want to get 4 out of here. So that's going to be tricky. You want to make sure before starting anything that you have 42 inches of usable fabric. That was mentioned in the beginning of the pattern. So I am going to fold mine in half again, because then I can see if I can get all 4 blocks out of here. So This is how I check it, because I can line up my 0 slit here on the end. As you can see, when I'm piecing strip sets like this, I did the same thing. I did twos, and then I added the third one to one of the sets, and then I joined them. I try to have all the selvages kind of lined up on one side, so then I know exactly where I can trim, making sure I'm catching everything underneath. And I find my 0 where I'm trimming all of these off. And to get two 10.5-inch cuts, I'm going to need to make a cut here on the outside edge of the ruler. So I know I need to have just a little bit of fabric here. Now I can wiggle around since I see I have more room, and make sure I get that cut. And then I'm looking at my seams to line up with my horizontal lines on the ruler. And you can adjust until everything looks good. And then you're ready to make your cuts. So you're going to need 4 of these, and then I'm going to cut on the edge here. So 4 of 2A, you'll see we have rectangles. We're going to add one more feature to this. We're going to grab our rectangles from the background, and we're going to be sewing that to the left side, so it looks just like this. So it's like your background is going to create the letter E. So 4 rectangles are going to get sewn on this side. And when I made this strip set, it says in the pattern that you should press the seams open. I looked at how it's going to be laid out, and it really doesn't matter, so I decided to press mine towards my background, just so it's consistent with what we already did, pressing the seams in one direction, and then I don't have to worry about my seams popping. It's quicker. And so I did that with this strip set, as well as the next one we'll be doing. I'll show you that. But I'm going to go ahead and sew these to this side and finish all of my block 2A. So here I have my blocks. We added this rectangle to this side, and I pressed it this way towards the rectangle we added. So this is going to be block 2A. I have my little clip marked, so this is ready to be set aside for the final layout. And we're going to move on to blocks 2B and 2C. So keep going with the strip sets. In this case, we're going to take a color 4 strip and then sew 2 background strips on each side, just like this. These are going to be subcut just like the wider one. So I'm going to fold it over and do the same thing I did, aligning the selvages so I can get a nice little trim. And because I need 4 out of here, because we're going to be doing 2 that are C, or 2 are B and 2 are C, so we need to get 4. I'm going to use the same trick to make sure that I get enough, and just seeing that I have fabric here on this side and I have plenty of room, so that's good. Aligning my seams up with the lines on the ruler, and now I'm ready to subcut. And then last cut on the edge. So there we are. And we're going to be doing a similar technique as we did with our block 1s. So we're going to take 2 and 2, and we're going to sew a square of that same fabric, number 4. We're going to sew it on left side on 2 of them, and then on the right side on 2 of them. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So these 2 are going to be my right side, and then these 2 are going to be my left side. Same thing. I went ahead when I did this strip set, I decided to press away from the center strip, so one direction towards my background. Doesn't really matter. We're going to add this one and press it the same way. So as you can see, I sewed 2 on the right side, 2 on the left side. And so this, because I noticed in the pattern, really doesn't matter how the seam is pressed. I just pressed it towards this little square, just because it's easier to work with this way. It's not going to matter in the end. So it's going to lay nice and flat this way. Now we're going to go ahead and add fabric number 1, these long rectangles. We're going to sew them on the side of where we added that square. So it's going to extend the top. So I recommend sewing it like this. So extend the top, and we're going to be sewing this on both of the A's and the B, or the B's and the C's. And we're just going to sew it on and then press it. I'm going to press it towards that fabric number 1. Go ahead and do that with all of my blocks, all 4. And then we'll finish off these blocks. Now that we have both versions sewn with fabric 1 on the side, opposites, we're going to do the same thing as we did with block 1. We're going to cut this from the corner diagonal to this corner. So again, you can do that 2 ways, either by just laying a long ruler on the 2 corners like this, and if you choose that method, make sure you're careful cutting along the edge of it. Or you can do my fold technique if you want to cut through a slit, taking this piece, folding it up to this corner. So we have a fold here, aligning a slit up with that corner, and then using a horizontal line on the fold here on the bottom. Your slit is lined up to make that cut, and you have the same result, a little safer way. So if you want to, you can save these pieces to play with later on, but you should have 2 versions, 2 of each block. So this is 2B and 2C. I went ahead and made the other ones ahead of time so that I can add my little stay stitch along the diagonal edge, just like I did with block 1. So now these are ready to go. This is going to be block 2C that has the block fabric 1 on the right side, and then opposite is going to be our 2B. Just like the illustrations show. And now these are ready to be set aside. And that is our steps for this first part of making this quilt. So get these done, and then I'll be back here a week from today, and we'll tackle the next set of blocks, block 3. So there we are, first part done with the homecoming quilt. I see we got some questions along the way, so let me try and answer the questions that came up. Do you have a video for bias binding? I sure do. So look to our YouTube channel. You can always just search from there. You find our YouTube channel, you can search within the channel, easy to find. It's also under our tutorials, so should be easy to find. Should we best press the whole entire yard before cutting? If you're going to best press, yes, you want to do it before cutting anything. Always. Best press, let it dry, press it, and then cut. Okay? Beautiful fabric. This is all basic, so it's not one line. I'm using a blue it's from our color club, from our blueberry color club. And then I'm using some dry brush and a chalk and charcoal, I believe. And then one other fabric from Color Club. Some of these dry brushes are also from Color Club. Color Club is the best. Do you always go by the bolt fold? What do you do if you pre-wash your fabrics? So what she's talking about is the bolt fold when I was showing you how to line that up to fold your fabric. So if you do pre-wash your fabrics, So easy, easy. You want to make sure you press them really well after you wash them. So align the selvages and make your own bolt fold. So always use that. So align, semi-align your selvages, and then create that bolt fold again. If your fabric comes off the bolt really crooked when you buy fabric and you don't pre-wash, you can do the same. Open it up, press it with a good steam, and then refold it to make your own bolt fold. It's going to be a much better result. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Great. Well, there's so much to get to today, so you can always go back and rewatch this. Make sure to check our blog for all the information. We will put the link straight to this video there so that you don't have to scroll through the Tipsy Tuesday show. Although there's a lot of good stuff coming up here. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is, is London Calling, of course. I know you've been excited. It was hard for us on Friday to really show off the quilt, but it was so important for us to do this reveal both in person and with our audience on the live. So I hope you were able to catch a little bit of it. But as you know, we took the quilt with us to London earlier this year. Well, it was just in September, once I had it all done, and took it back to its roots. Kind of walked through the city, found some of the spots that are featured in the quilt. So Mr. HP has masterfully put together this video.
Masterfully.
There's a lot of looking at my backside, so just a fair warning.
Why even talk about it?
But it's fun. It's fun. So enjoy our journey through London with the London Calling quilt. That's right. We got Trafalgar Square, and the blocks in the corner are inspired by this right here. The design on these elevated areas. We have the fountains, the shape of the fountains right there. And the reason why I put these black pillars on the side, right there. So whenever I'm walking through London and I have a chance to take a little shortcut or a long cut through the parks, I will. This is St. James Parks, one of my favorites. I had to have an English pub as a part of the quilt. And even though parts of the block itself are inspired by the design of the Red Lion, an iconic English pub across from the Parliament House, I took some creative liberty. Of course, the red door, there's no red door, but I just love the look, the feel when you're inside an English pub. So when in London or anywhere in England, you have to have that as a part of your stop. So here we are on the iconic corner. We're in the middle of the street, but we have Big Ben, lots of red buses. This is why I put Big Ben and the red bus in the same block. We have Westminster, and then just over there we have Westminster Abbey. Of course, one of the iconic structures in London. But what inspired me the most is inside, and so I had to include the checkered floor of Westminster Abbey. And we got Big Ben and the buses. I think one of the tourist attractions that is a must to do in London is the London Eye. It really creates a great overview of the city for you. You can see the whole city, plan your trips where you're going, get some good photos, and of course, we have it as a part of the quilt. The best way to get around in London, of course, hopping on the Underground. It is so convenient, gets you places really fast. So I had to have it as a part of the quilt. We got 4 blocks, and I think it's ready for having London Calling go on the train. Not only is the Tower Bridge an iconic symbol of London, the City of London, but it is an engineering feat of its time. Still operating. And of course I wanted this to be a prominent part of the quilt since it is in so many images and documentations of the City of London. We are in Covent Garden, a really fun place to hang out with a lot of history too. So my Covent Garden block reflects the architecture in here. We have the green arches on top with the tan brick and then the black doors and windows which some of them have been repainted to represent the actual stores or locations that are there. But it's a definite must stop just to hang out, people watch, get some food, maybe do a little shopping. This is one of those hidden little courtyards in London. And I discovered this one when we had lunch in the restaurant down in its open air courtyard. You just stumble upon it. Just gorgeous. Well, now this quilt has to come to the Mecca, Liberty. Of course, featured in the quilt, in the row of flowers. So I thought it was very fitting that we, as we walk into Liberty, we walk through the flower department, and the smell is amazing. We gotta stop at Harrods. Of course, this is a part of the quilt to represent the iconic Harrods here in London. Place for shopping, but for me, I love just watching. Such eye candy for any designer or design enthusiast. So let's go take a little look. So that's the tour. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. It was fun seeing your comments. Now, the biggest thing that I'm so impressed with and excited about, because that's my whole goal as I design this whole experience of the block of the month, being a mystery, kind of jumping from things here and there, is that a lot of you had all of the blocks done, but the layout was still a complete surprise. Then my job is done. That is the whole point. So the best thing for me is hearing that, and also how much you enjoyed sewing along and learning about all those places. Hearing the stories, so all the places I featured in the quilt, and I did add a whole page of background behind each one, so that was really fun to hear how you guys really enjoyed that. Now, if you didn't sew along with us for these past 14 months, it's okay. I see some of you haven't started yet. We, of course, are celebrating this release and reveal for a limited time. You can get your London Calling fabric kit for 15% off. So we actually saw some people at the Houston Quilt Show that had not heard about this project and were just over the moon seeing the quilt in person. lucky them to be there at that time. And so the quilt kit does include all the fabrics I used. It includes the backing. And these fabrics were, of course, printed by Louis and Irene, made by Louis and Irene, which is a UK-based company. I was fortunate enough to work with them and was able to color some of those fabrics myself for it to have the perfect look. So very excited about that. And another special for you all is the London Calling thread box that I put together with Oracle Fabrics is also on special right now. So just to celebrate the release. Now in the fabric kit, you get a specially designed custom quilt label that comes with the fabric kit that, of course, I included on the back of my quilt. And so that is included in the fabric kit. But you can also get, if you don't want to buy the whole fabric kit, but want to make some other things, we have all of the London Calling fabrics available in 1 yard. We even have a long cut of the backing fabric, enough for you to use as backing. Is a 7-yard cut. There's a lot of fabric in that London Calling kit. I think it's almost 20 yards. The big quilt, a lot of intricate piecing, but the pattern is of course not included because that is available as a PDF download and video class for each block. So we have the whole package. If you still want to join in, you get the whole package. That's all of the instructions. Everything will be instantly in your account. Or if you want to break it down there, you can also purchase them block by block individually. And I just wanted to show you this. So if you want to do a little something extra with your leftovers or get some more fabric for it, we made this awesome London Calling tote bag from our Strip to the Beach pattern. And you can find, let's show you some of the photos. So really cool, fun way to use that directional fabrics. There's 2 sizes in the pattern, so we actually made both. And this was, of course, the bag I couldn't bring with me to London, so I had to buy that other bag that you saw in the video. But this is from our Strip to the Beach pattern, and that is quilt as you go, super fast and easy to do. So check that out if you're interested. And you might want to make that because guess what? You just saw a glimpse of us strolling through the city of London in, what, this took 12 minutes. We did it in more than a day, all those places, but I think our steps were like 16, 17,000 that one day.
Yeah.
And then similar the next day. But we used the subway a lot, used the underground.
Mind your step.
Mind the gap. Mind the gap.
Mind the gap.
And so if you are interested in coming with us and taking a tour of London, along with Birmingham Quilt Festival, we have put together a tour that is amazing for this coming 2025. So July 31st through August 8th, we're going to start in Birmingham, going to their Quilt Festival, which is amazing. I'm so excited to go there for a couple of days. We're going to travel through the countryside of England for a little bit, and then we're going to spend some time in London, retracing our steps, visiting those sites that you just saw in the video and more. Have a lot of fun. So this was just announced on Friday, of course. It is. You can find it on our website. There's a link right in the video below if you look at the text or above, wherever you're looking. And but on our website, you can also find about and more, and go to Travel with Gudrun is right there. So we put just the flyer up there. There's a link right there on that page to go to quiltingadventurespro.com. This is arranged by Michelle. The whole tour, there's a lot included in here. And alongside, if you're traveling from the US, there is an international flight from New York included in the ticket price. All your hotels, all your breakfast, there's a couple of group meals, group dinners. There's a lot of admissions to a lot of things. So it adds up, of course, if you've traveled before, all those things add up really quickly. So it's really nice. It's just all in that package price. So check it out. I have some extra fun surprises, of course, in store for you along the way. So join us. There's limited spots. Was there a label in our original order for London Calling? Yes. Yes, it was. It was included in the original kit. We just didn't talk about it beforehand. It was a surprise when you got the kit. Okay. So if you're interested in the trip, there you can always register right on Michelle's page. And if you need a roommate, want a roommate, just ask there. We can easily match you up with a roommate. I also wanted to mention, because I already got some questions, if this tour could be joined without the airfare, because we have interest from other parts of Europe or other parts of the world, not just from the US. So if you want to come meet us in Birmingham and start the tour there, that is totally available. So my friends up in Norway, Iceland, and everywhere else, wherever you want to meet us, come hop on and join us. We are so excited for this tour, especially when it comes so short on the heels of us finishing this quilt. Everything's going to be so fresh. Included in the tour, I'm going to design a special quilt too, just a small one. So you'll have a kit to take home or sent to you right after the tour, before the tour, to commemorate the trip. So lots of fun stuff. Lots of fun stuff. All right. So any more questions on the London Calling? We're so excited. So excited. Is the label available if you didn't buy the kit? I will have to check on that. I don't know if we had any extras, but I can check on that and let you know. So speaking of mysteries and quilt-alongs, of course, this is the time of year for my dear friend Bonnie Hunter's mystery project, annual mystery quilt. She just announced her colors and her inspiration. And this year it is called Old Town, and featuring the colors of Poland from her trip to Poland earlier this year. And so in the past few years, I love to make imaginary quilts, of course. These are the colors that she's using, and Bonnie's a scrappy quilter if you don't know her style. So she gives you the main colors, and then from there you pick your fabrics. Scrappy, so you want a mix of textures and shades within that color. But I love to make my own imaginary quilts. But let's take a look at Bonnie's choices. So for her reds, this is the type of mix that she plays with. Of course, you can choose to have that a little bit more subtle, the variety. You can have a little more subtleness in the prints, but that's all up to you. I've even seen folks just use one red fabric and go from there. Here's an example of her aquas and turquoise. So these shades go from a light aqua into the darker turquoise colors. And then the pinks, what seems like pink, are more corals and melon colors. So mixing up kind of the melons and the corals, a little bit of pink in there, looks like. So this is kind of what she chooses. And then the fourth color is your background. And so she chose lights in different shades. So and ranging from cream through taupes, off-whites, just nothing too dark, but as you can see, lots of low volume. She likes to use lots of low volume, so it's really fun to see. So I thought I would give you some ideas. Now these kinds of projects are of course great for Color Club, just like the Homecoming quilt was. So I decided just to pull out 3 beautiful previous Color Club bundles. Oh, and by the way, if you are a subscriber of Color Club, it's shipped today, November package shipped today. So it's once a month, you get 5 half yards. Join us now because it's so fun to have these in your arsenal when you need it. So this is the Cherry Pie bundle for the reds. This is the turquoise, obviously for the turquoise. And then it's also apricot that's from last year. And so these would be perfect for her quilt. As far as the lights, here are also 3, mushroom, sand, and Arctic fox. So these would all work great as her lights. So if you're thinking about participating in Bonnie's, these are great options if you subscribe to Color Club. I thought I would offer 2 more options. So taking those same colors, but just shaking them up a little bit, I put, instead of the turquoise, I went more blue. This beautiful shades of blueberry blues from our blueberry bundle. And then I took that, what was that? Pinot Noir color. So a really maroon reds. And then instead of those melon colors, just going down to that rosy cheek. So that would be a really elegant way to put things together. I really love that combination. And then of course I probably use lights. And then another twist, go as dark as the night sky, so really dark navies. And then our plums, so these are really going to be a really rich and regal quilt. And then instead of the pinks, I would throw in just a little gold with our cider. And for this one, you could go a light gray for the background, or you could go a taupe, like a soft, light brown taupe would be really beautiful. So just some ideas to play with if you want to participate. So I'm going to imagine all these quilts in my head. So her instructions start on, I do believe, the Friday before Thanksgiving. So just go to her blog, quiltville.com, to the blog, and you can follow along and get all the information. So she has all the suggestions there. But great way to use some Color Club. And so let me know in the comments if some of you are participating and planning on using her colors or switching it up. That red or the blue could be switched out with green. It would be beautiful that way too. So I could go on and on with options. We're going to stop there. Anyways, some other reminders. Our Skyler video class goes live next week. So this is a part of our Quickies club, video club, or class club. Skyler is one of those really great patterns. It's going to be fast. The first video is already in your account if you already bought this whole 12 class subscription, but you can buy the Skyler video class individually. So the first video with my tool tips, fabric suggestions, and more is already there, but the full class will be available on November 13th. And I'm telling you, if you still have a quilt that you need to make before Christmas, this is a great option because it goes together really, really fast. So check that out if you're interested. And we are shipping our Advent boxes starting this week. So just a few left. Our Advent boxes come with all the kits that we're going to be making the 4 Advent projects out of. The Advent projects are free tutorials that I start the Tuesday before the 1st of Advent. And that is going to be November 26th at 4 p.m. Central during Tipsy Tuesday. It's going to be my tip of the day for that, for those 4 consecutive Tuesdays. Always so exciting. Some really fun projects I got planned for you. So if you want to snatch up an Advent box, it has the 4 kits. It also has a little bit of a gift in there from us that's going to be useful. Don't worry, they're always useful, or cute at least, but something fun to look forward to during the Advent season. So check that out if you haven't secured one yet. We are going a little bit longer than normal. That's okay because we had a lot of fun and good stuff. I have one bundle to show you today. Very exciting one. This is a Tula Pink Untamed. So her newest line that just shipped. And this is 10 pieces. I decided to include all the pieces in here, 10 pieces. They go really well together. So here is, so mixture of some bold prints and then some more tamed ones, even though it's called Untamed. What I love about it, she includes some of those beautiful little textures, so the little polka dots inside the floral. But love this. No animals in this one, which I really enjoy. A little break from that sometimes, but her beautiful colors, bright textures are really fun. And here is a really cool print. We have the herringbone. This is, why is my brain? So
much information.
Yeah. Is it herringbone? Am I just talking too much? So beautiful. I love the rainbow effect that's going diagonal, so it gives you a lot of option. Kind of works as a stripe, and kind of just can be a print with a lot of colors. I love the little bright pink in here. So that's print number 2. We have a little bit more on the purple side. This geometric, you've probably seen these shapes. Oh, houndstooth. Thank you. Houndstooth, not herringbone. I knew there wasn't herringbone. Thank you so much. Houndstooth. And then this globe shape here. I love the little cat eyes in here with the purple and pink. Houndstooth?
Never heard of it.
You probably had a jacket with a houndstooth pattern on it.
Maybe.
So this beautiful floral, I love the checkerboard, the aqua checkerboard in the back. Just a little bit of that bright pink in there. So cute. And you can see there's a little checkerboard in the petals of the flowers too. Then we have a medium floral with bringing in a little bit of that light green sea foam, a little bit of mint and pink. And then we have the houndstooth in the background of this print. So you can barely see it, but it's this large houndstooth, lavender houndstooth. And then we have the pansies, look like pansies on here. So pretty. Then we have her classic version of one of her classics, the drops, the raindrops. And they are textured as well. We have the checkerboard, we have the polka dot, the stripes. So really fun textures mixed in. Another great floral. This one is very symmetrical. This will be perfect for some fuzzy cutting. Really beautiful pink colors and just a lovely, lovely print. Got a couple of more. This is more here on the greener side. We have a polka dot, small floral, lovely, a little bit of regular polka dot. I love that the flowers are creating that polka dot with it. And then, last but not least, we have another one of the cat eye in the teal greens with a little bit of lime. So really cool. I really love this print. So this is Untamed by Tulip Pink, her newest, and a little bit of a fabric pull. We pulled in some glaze. This is the lilac color, one of the new ones. Works great here with the purples. And then we have more of the bluer. This is lavender dust, has more of the bluer tones of the purple. Works great in here and here. A little bit of pink. This is color wash scribble in the pink. Nice bright color. And then for the darker pink, I pulled the glaze cochineal. I don't know, still don't know how to pronounce that name. I apologize. Some of the sea glass. This is color wash in the textured sea glass. Love this one with all of those tones, and a little bit darker with another glaze and the waterfall. This is a beautiful green color. Really love this in there. For a little pop of lime that is featured in many of the prints, this is Moonscape in the chartreuse. And then I thought I would bring in some neutrals because you're going to need to tame this down, untamed. So tame it down a little bit. We have grunge and the iron. This is a dark, dark brownish hue. So even though it looks black, it's going to be still stay warm. And then I chose a medium gray. This is another glaze in the storm cloud. That is going to be great because all the pieces are going to stand out on this one. And then if you wanted to go even lighter, I would suggest something with a print. This is seedling in the longan. It has that light gray print on it and just a little bit of a gray texture. So I think any of these would be great. They would all create a great contrast with these so that the tulip prints can really, really shine.
You make a Frankie with this?
Oh, yes. Frankie would be fabulous with this.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine with a really harsh contrast, or even these two together as a contrast?
I like it.
Fabulous. Great idea. All right, so let's finish off our show here with our giveaway question. I know it's a while. We're over an hour. So our giveaway question, other than quilting projects, what are you working on? Is it, do you craft other things? Maybe you're working on your house or your garden or whatever else. Tell me what you're working on outside of quilting projects. Maybe it's sewing projects, knitting, needlework. It's always good to keep busy. Keep those hands busy.
Editing video.
Sorry? Editing video, that's what you're working on all the time. I'm writing, making spreadsheets. Seems like there's a lot of to-do lists that I make every single day. They don't seem to get any shorter, they just get longer. But That's the way it goes, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
You love it.
Yes. So remember, tomorrow morning, Wednesday morning, is going to be our 1 Yard Wednesday show. Excited to see that. That's 9:30 a.m. That's November 6th. That's tomorrow morning. Happy Friday will be this Friday, coming up November 8th at 12 noon. And then a week from today, Tipsy Tuesday, that's November 12th at 4 p.m. Central Time. But go ahead and answer that giveaway question in the comments. We'll be back here shortly. We'll be later on this week, hopefully with some exciting news. You know, it's always exciting when, you know, a nation gets to choose their president. So it's always an iconic moment. I just want to say it's an iconic moment for the United States because there is a female that is, up for election. And I have to tell you, representation matters. Being that I'm from Iceland, I was lucky enough to have a female president from the time I was 8 years old for 16 years. And I truly would not be the person that I am today with the bravery that I have had through my career if I wouldn't have had that role model as the leader of our nation. And so girls can do anything, right? So celebrate whichever way the chips fall. Let's all be kind and bring love into the world. Keep quilting if you need to curb that anxiety. Everybody.
Most things.
Thank you all for watching us tonight. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, and we'll see you next time. Bye.